In very basic terms, we're sonifying a rec, or we're playing a rec. And it's part of a reciprocal kind of relationship, because earlier this year I took 10 musicians and sound artists out to Wycliffe's from Sydney, or from the East Coast rather, to work in the outback environment. This particular rec was driven by a woman called Claire Innes, and she lives in Wycliffe's, which is a small mining town, far west part of New South Wales. Is on the edge of a place called Corner Country, and we got a member of the Wycliffe's community to bring it to Sydney. It was just a great thing. I mean, he drove into town with this thing on the back, you know. People would come up to him, you know, saying, "I guess you're on the way to the tip." Well, no, actually, we're on the way to sort of, do some art. We've been investigating what sounds, what doesn't sound, and where the resonant areas are. And so we've put contact microphones on it, not too many. And we've got suddenly a whole world of percussion and sonic interest. Pitch too, oddly enough. I mean, we can generate pitch out of a rec. People don't think that. They think, well, it's just going to sound like junk. But in fact, it can sound very, very musical. If you've been experimenting for, maybe as long as I have, which is now 40 years, you get a reservoir of information, of knowledge, whereby you've got a pretty good idea that something sort of like that will work if you do certain things to it. But then there are always surprises, and that's where it becomes very beautiful. Because I'm a violinist myself, I like to be playing the violin, but I realised in this particular situation where I have to direct it, it's too difficult. And so Erk is the best guy for the job. He's also an improviser. He understands, how these things work. And so I wanted a kind of like a violin obbligato, so an instrument which is also recognisable by the public, but something to stand a little bit away from it, to give it a perspective. Also, we retuned the violin. It's a violin of all G strings, very closely tuned together, so it sounds very unusual. If you're used to hearing a violin, you won't believe that sound that's actually coming out of that instrument. Claire is a wonderful percussionist. For her, it's probably the newest sort of experience. Normally when Claire plays, she plays quite set pieces on very set instruments which make a certain sound. You go gonk and it will go gonk every time. You pretty well do it, if you hit it in the same spot. Whereas a rec is a much more of a living, breathing, changing beast which will change over the duration. It's already changed since yesterday. So as we play it, the thing will modulate. So it's a question of having that flexibility, which he has. When I'm asked to describe what I am, I guess I play exploratory music. I'm an experimenter. And it gives you a certain freedom. If you're stuck with doing something and you always have to do it because that's what people expect you to do, I think that can be alarming. It becomes, like this huge millstone around your neck. Whereas I have that freedom still intact. So it's kind of, you've got to have that within you, that relationship and that physicality between your natural intelligence and knowledge over years of training and being able to apply it to something which is unknown. It's a Rumsfeld kind of known unknown.